Welcome everyone to the CFO Swinger Watch reports technical analysis video for the first trading week of July or July 1st to 5th. Now, this will be a very short trading week for all US based traders, so make sure you guys aren't pouring yourselves over the trading week, especially if you guys aren't able to take any of the setups that are in the report. You're most likely not going to be missing out on anything. Now, before I officially begin this video, make sure you guys are always reading the newsletter first before you watch this technical analysis video. Remember, I have way more details on what our actual swing trade ideas entail for this week. For example, I provide the exact option contracts that we need to be looking to execute for each swing trade idea and the exact 3-point game plan for each swing trade idea using equity. And that's just a small snippet of what the weekly report says, so make sure you guys are not only watching the technical analysis videos. With that, let's take a look at the markets. So as you guys see here on the S&P 500 or ticker symbol SPY, we had quite the rowdy close to quarter two, and that's mainly due to the fact that we had the end of the quarter rebalancing. And not only did we see it on the S&P 500, but we also saw it for the Russell 2000 or IWM. And ticker symbol IWM is very significant for the rebalancing because in the month of June, it has a very special rebalancing at the end of quarter two. And I talk a little bit about that in the market summary, so make sure you guys read the market summary in this week's report. Now, for the S&P 500, I would say I'm not going to be taking this candlestick and obviously the volume too seriously. Yes, this is a very bearish looking candlestick at the end of the day. However, due to the rebalancing and the volatility that was introduced to the rebalancing, I would say that, come tomorrow, I would say it's a completely new day, new quarter, and new price action. But again, nonetheless, we're still in a clear uptrend. And as long as we don't break below both of my daily 10, this red, and my daily 21 SMA, this light blue line, and we continue to stay underneath both of my SMAs, we are still in an uptrend, right? As long as, again, we don't close below both my 10 or the 21 consistently, we will still be in a very clear uptrend. So now, even if this candlestick looks bearish, there is still a chance that we can come back down and just retest a simple daily level of support that I mentioned previously, and that is the 540 or $540 level here, this whole number level. And right now, the daily 21 SMA is currently rising up higher and curling up higher to meet up with this 540 level. And so it will be kind of picture perfect if the markets tomorrow decide to continue to move lower and retest at this 540 level along with the daily 21 SMA. It'll be a very nice convergence point for the price to pivot off from and continue to move back up towards the all-time highs. Now there's also a new level of resistance on the daily time frame that the price has officially made. So this 550.20 level, or if you guys want to keep it simple, the 550 whole number level. So this will most likely going to be a huge area of sellers or supply. And so it would be very nice if you can get a nice 10-point range here from 540 to 550 where we just simply do nothing but move sideways, right? And so that will also provide a lot of opportunity for a lot of sector rotation, a lot of money outflows and inflows from leaders to laggards or vice versa. I talk extensively about this in this week's report and also from the previous reports as well. So make sure you guys go back to those reports. And so again, if we do decide to start consolidating sideways in between this 10-point range of 540 to 550, that'll be very ideal and very textbook. All right, now just for this short week, I completely expect very low volatility and also very low volume. And that's the reason why I started this video off by saying that if you guys miss out on anything this week, do not FOMO. Okay, you guys will most likely not miss out on anything. Right? So with that, let's take a look at IWM. So the Russell 2000 continues to provide us with a very picture-perfect, textbook-looking cup and handle on the daily time frame. Now, this handle is personally, to me, getting a little bit too long. However, it seems like we are on the verge, on the cusp of a potential breakout. Why? Well, first of all, we have multiple retests on this descending resistance trend line in red here, right? And I am pointing out all the previous retests and pivots that we saw once we were able to see the price retesting this descending resistance trend line. And we have 5 retests of this descending resistance trend line, which most likely is telling us that the price really wants to break out from this descending resistance trend line and overall this cup and handle chart pattern. Now, before you guys forget, let me make sure you guys remember that the official resistance level or the neckline resistance of this bullish cup and handle chart pattern is at this 210 whole number level. And so we have our first hurdle to get over, which is the descending resistance trend line. And then once we're able to sustain an official breakout over this overall handle, we need to be able to retest 210 and tightly consolidate underneath it and eventually break over this neckline resistance, officially getting us away from this cup and handle chart pattern and officially making the chart pattern, well, official. And obviously the targets are still the same. Once we're able to break over 210, we have 216.20 as our first target, then 226.50 as the next one, and then the maximum target will be 233. All right, so this one, again, obviously this is a long-term swing or position trade. So if you guys are interested in what the exact swing trade positions that we have for IWM, make sure you guys take a look at the private CFO Discord. And with that, that concludes the markets. Let's take a look at our first swing trade idea for this week, SWKS. So yes, this is the same swing trade idea from last week. And if you guys remember, I specifically told you guys that this one will most likely going to be a quote-unquote watch list name. Why? Well, I specifically also stated that we are most likely going to be seeing this daily picture-perfect textbook bull flag continuously playing out and forming. And that's exactly what we did last week. All of last week, we continued to stay underneath that flag resistance level of 107.50, which also happens to be our entry point over 107.55 for confirmation, obviously. And we continue to make higher lows, officially holding this ascending support trend line. And as I've stated last week as well, even if we did not tightly consolidate underneath 107.50, and if we did not get this ideal situation that we're currently in now, I wouldn't mind the price breaking below this ascending support trend line, because again, the price is consolidating because it's waiting for the daily 10 and daily 21 SMAs to catch up, my short-term momentum SMAs. And so now that the daily 10 has officially caught up last week, the price is most likely going to wait for the daily 21 SMA to catch up. However, we might not have to wait for the daily 21 SMA to catch up this week if we see more of the laggards getting attention, especially with SWKS being in the leading semiconductor group. I have extensively talked about this last week as well, so make sure you guys read the market summary from last week. And so SWKS being a lagging semiconductor name, there is a chance that we can see the money flowing in from the leaders of the semiconductor group and coming into the lagging semiconductors like SWKS, and we can see a nice volume-backed breakout over 107.55. And so make sure you guys are taking a look at the report this week on this specific swing trade idea, because most of the targets are still the same, but there will be a slight difference in the option contract that we want to be looking at for this name, because of the fact that we obviously had a very picture perfect consolidation for all of last week. So that kind of changes the swing trade idea as well on SWKS, but overall the basic game plan is still the same for SWKS, since we're still looking at this nice bull flag on the daily time frame. Now on the larger time frame, on the weekly time frame, there is a bigger picture move that we have in mind for SWKS, so make sure you guys do read the report as well on this specific swing trade idea. Okay, now the second swing trade idea for this week is APP or AppLOVIN Corp. So I also talk a lot more extensively on the technical analysis for APP in the report itself, so make sure you guys read that first before you watch this technical analysis video. However, on the daily time frame, I do have something to talk about. So APP has been making a pretty picture perfect wedge chart pattern. It's a neutral chart pattern, which means that we can either get a nice uptrend breakout or a nice downtrend breakout. Now, in this case here, obviously, due to the fact that we have a long entry point over 85.10, we're looking for an eventual ideal breakout to the upside. Now, why do I want that? Well, first of all, the price itself is indicating that I want a breakout to the upside. As seen by my yellow arrows here, we can see that the price has retested this descending level of resistance 3 times. And usually when the price has hit a major level, whether it be a support or resistance, we usually call it 3 times the charm, right? And we tend to see a breakout on the actual 4th retest. Usually we tend to get it on the 3rd, but if we don't see enough buying momentum or buying pressure when we're looking for an upside breakout after the 3rd retest, we usually see the 4th retest being the actual breakout point. And so that's exactly where we want to be involved in. And just like what we saw with IWM, right, we are seeing multiple retests at this descending level of resistance. And so for us, we should be able to get an entry point over this descending level of resistance that makes up the overall wedge chart pattern on a daily time frame. But at the same time, we want to see a convergence point of the price breaking over this descending resistance trendline and this flat horizontal resistance level at 85.10. And so once we're able to break over this $85 whole number level, then we should be able to see the next major whole number level being retested, which is 90. Okay, and make sure you guys take a look at the report for all the profit targets that we have for this name and our stop losses. All right, and last but not least, okay, we have, drum rolls please, fslr. So this is the previous swing trade idea that I introduced to you guys back in mid-May, right? And this was the very easy swing trade idea where we are looking for a nice higher high breakout over 199. And on May 21st, to be exact, we saw that great breakout that was backed up with a huge amount of volume, right? So obviously on the left side here in the left corner, you guys can see that on May 21st, we had nearly double the average daily volume, and then it was followed by a huge increase in volume, right? And so this is a pretty much a picture perfect breakout to the upside. Now, if you come to the current daily candlesticks here, it looks pretty bad, right? So the name has obviously reversed from its recent 52-week highs, not all-time highs, but recent 52-week highs. It was just shy of making a new all-time high number, but we saw a nice rejection and pretty much a pretty textbook, I would say, an evening doji candlestick at the 52 weeks highs. And this led to a pretty quick reversion to the downside and then some consolidation and eventual break of this very small momentum bear flag as we broke below 255, and eventually we came back down to retest the daily 50 SMA on the daily time frame. Now here's why this is important. Okay, so if we take a look right here, we closed slightly below the daily 50 SMA, and this is our first retest of the daily 50 SMA since we're able to move away from it pretty rapidly around late March. And so it's been a couple months since we have retested the daily 50 SMA, which means that we can be seeing more buyers than sellers coming in to make sure that the price comes back and stays over the daily 50 SMA. And in this case here, what we want to see ideally is a very rapid move back down below the daily 50 SMA, since we have already closed below the daily 50 SMA, and we retest a major level of support like 218.50 here. Let's make it green so that you guys know that's a level of support. Or we can also rapidly move down again to retest another major level of support at 211.50. So both whole number levels. And if you do see that retest, then we should be seeing a very quick pivot from each of these respective support levels, whether we hit the 218 or 211.50, right? 218.50 or 211.50, and we can see a very rapid move back up towards the daily 50 SMA to retest it as an area of resistance. But ideally, what we want to see is another flurry of buyers coming in to make sure that the price stays above the daily 50 SMA. So at some point, if we do see a pivot at 218.50 or 211.50, we should see a rapid move back up higher to reclaim the daily 50 SMA. And that will be a very ideal situation where we can essentially kind of make a sort of a V-shaped recovery back over the daily 50 SMA and continue this uptrend back to the upside. Now, eventually, if we do see a ideal price action like this, we can be seeing a lower high compared to the previous high that we made here, or the 52-week high. But this is kind of reaching here. However, this is kind of how trend lines work, right? How price action works. So I would expect to see some sort of resistance, maybe around the previous support level that we broke down from, this 255 on the daily time frame. So let's actually mark that here. But overall, this is kind of what we should be expecting and what we need to be playing and trading as the price decides to pivot away from these major daily support levels and a reclaim of this daily 50 SMA. So make sure you guys go back to the report to see the official entry ranges that I've assigned for this specific swing trade idea for this week. So again, I haven't had a set price, an entry price for this swing trade idea. I have a set entry price range that you guys need to read in the report. So make sure you guys read that. All right. Okay. So that is it for this video. If this technical analysis video was very insightful, but most importantly, applicable for this short trading week, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. And if you aren't subscribed yet, I don't know why you wouldn't be, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. But on top of that, after you hit that subscribe button, make sure you guys hit that notification bell icon as well, so that you guys know when I am live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and when I upload a new video on Monday and Wednesday. Alright, so good luck and see you all tomorrow morning.